right, welcome. So today we are going to talk about 3 mistakes that people make when they are trying to earn money online. And this is all about simplicity, okay? That is all we are talking about is simplicity today. And the simpler you can keep it, the better off you are, because it just doesn't create these bottlenecks inside of a business. So that's what we're going to talk about. So the first thing is this, right? And you might be saying to yourself, what is that thing, right? One job, no updates, 1 billion sold, 100 billion sold. Simple. It's this. It's a Bic pen, right? A Bic pen really hasn't changed primarily since the 50s. There's no upgrades, there's no bundles, there's no fancy website, there's no landing pages. It's just a Bic pen. It performs one job, it writes. And they've sold 100 billion of them, and it doesn't look that much different today than it did in 1950. So that's what this is all about. This is about too many tools, too many offers, the recurring base, and I'm apologizing, I cannot get these images on vertical because I was unable to do that in time today. So if you're watching vertical, you're not going to see these images, but if you go over to horizontal, you can see them. But most creators are monetizing this opposite way. Too much. Too much. Too many tools, too many offers, and no recurring base. Right? No recurring base whatsoever. Whereas if you are making content, you're trying to do it one way as well with simplifying, but a $60 AdSense is not a business model. And if you're on TikTok and you're watching this, you're making mere cents per 1,000 views. That's not a business model either. Okay? That is not a business model. But creating a simple solution to a simple problem. That's all. And I'm going to show you somebody here in just a little bit, a guy that did this. But people are at A. They want to get at B. That's all it is. And the way that I got started with this whole process was seeing a guy on TikTok talking just about this. A, B. So business people are a couple of things. They are problem solvers and they are time travelers. They get people from where they are to where they want to go. And it's a lot simpler. So you don't need a website. You just need a front door. A website is a billboard, right? A website is not a place. Number one, it's not a place that was designed for what it's being used for. Websites are designed to be pretty, but they're not designed to be effective. In fact, when you are talking about websites, you're talking about, and let's see here, I'm going to try to check some comments as we go. What's going on, Weston? How are you? Hey, C100, how are you? I don't know what donated $1,000 means. There's nothing for you to donate here, so I'm not sure what that means. But, all right, so here's what a billboard is versus a room. This is what a lot of people are doing with websites. It looks nice, right? But it doesn't convert. There's no sense of connection with other people. and it still needs traffic. You know, it's funny. I talked to a guy one time at a networking event, and he said, I can make you the prettiest site in the world, but if you can't get traffic to that thing, you have got the most expensive piece of useless real estate that you could ever have. So that's the problem with a billboard. Looks nice, doesn't create conversations, doesn't create connection, and it needs traffic. Whereas a room, people are talking, questions get answered, wins get shared, and value repeats. So stop building a billboard and start building a room, which means you don't need a fancy website and you don't need a fancy funnel. What you need is connection with the people that you want to reach. Community equals communication equals shared experience, and it equals recurring value. That's the best part about a community, is it's a real, natural, genuine place where people who have the same goals, are interested in the same things, they hang out together, right? And that's the way that business works. And at the end of this, I'm just going to start showing you example after example of people that are making this thing happen right now. But a community is the simplest business that there is, because you don't need to be a tech genius. You don't need to be some sort of guru. All you have to do is basically bring some knowledge and host the party. That's all you're doing. And I understand on vertical, you're not seeing any of this, and I apologize. But if you go over to horizontal, you'll see all the slides. Everything will be there. For some reason, the slides didn't work on vertical today, so I apologize. But you don't need to be a tech genius. And let me iterate this for you. Here's the thing. If you have questions about any of this, I want you to go ahead and put a Q colon and then your question, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, I will be happy to answer the questions. And if you're making comments, I am not used to checking them in real time. So I apologize for that. But yeah, you don't need to be a tech genius to start a community at all. It is not something that requires a massive amount of technical know-how. But here's the problem with a website, to go back to that. Confused buyers don't buy, they leave. So here's what I see with all these digital product creators. They have 17 different products that they're repping. They have 17 different affiliate links. And somebody comes to their link tree with all these different links, and they're like, I don't know what I need. Too many options creates zero decisions. A confused mind says no. Again, the big pen. Okay? The big pen. One solution, one place to get it. It does one thing. Total clarity in the mind of the person who is doing it. Total clarity. Right? So, no options, zero decisions, because despite what people will tell you, they don't want options. They don't want options. They want to be told what is the right thing for them, and then all you have to do is back it up and prove it that it's the right thing for them, but that's what they want. They don't want options. The more options you give them, the more you confuse them. And like I said, a confused mind says, nope, this is too much. It's overwhelmed. So you strive to make it as simple as possible. That's why when you do copy, a lot of people try to outsmart themselves, and what they do is they create this really flowery, really creative copy, but you know what? It leaves doubt in people's mind. And because it leaves doubt, they don't know whether or not it's for them. The very best copywriters going all the way back to the 50s with like the very first one who became a millionaire writing copy, David Ogilvy. He said, write at a third grade level. Because believe it or not, the average person doesn't have more that is going to see the copy. They don't have more than a fifth grade reading level. So if you can say something in 5 words, do that instead of saying it in 55. If you can say it at a 5th grade level, don't put it at 9th grade level because people don't understand. And be clear. Be clear. That's all you have to do is be clear, right? So the confused buyer leaves. So how do we get past this, right? Sorry about this. We're trying to get all these. I'm trying to hide these from you guys so you can't see them. There it is. So, again, one design, one barrel, one tube of ink, one job. That's it. And I know these are a little messed up, but that's it. That's all there is to it, right? So that's all you need to do. You just make it simple and stop trying to solve every problem under the sun. If you find someone's most painful problem and you solve it, they will pay you. They will pay you. No question about it. All right? One product, one promise, make the decision easy, and one price, right? Make it completely easy for them. And the problem with launches and products and courses, it's feast or famine. It's not a business. It's a trap. And it's one that most people fall into because they think that they're going to find some magical answer in some kind of course. And it's not. It's launch, it's hustle, it's fulfill, it's a dry pipeline. You start over and over again. You know what's funny? Back when I was going live on TikTok a lot more often, you know who would show up at my lives? Realtors. Why? Because realtors realize that you could have 5 million in sales this month, but you got to start all over again next month. And if you're not spending a ton of advertising money to get leads in the door, there's a very strong possibility you're not going to make the same amount of money, right? So you have got to find something that creates recurring income. So think about it in this way. And I'm going to try to share this one. All right. I'm going to try to share this one. Nope. I want it to the front. Okay. Let me bring this over. And then I got to make it really small so you can see it. There we go. All right. What if you had 50 people paying you $50 every month? What if you had that? Or 100 people paying you $25 a month? And I'm about to show you somebody who's doing that. Or 400 people that were paying you $9 a month. What if you had that condition, right? What if you had that scenario going on? That is a lot more predictable. It's every month. It's no new launch. It's, I don't know what I'm going to make next month. And every digital marketer out there, every single one, or somebody selling some type of one-off course, or they're selling a template or whatever, they are starting from scratch every single month. Yeah, I had a woman that came into my community and she said, I'm sick of going live every day to sell my products. I'm sick of doing that. So I told her, well, then what you need to do is you need to get off of that merry-go-round. is what you need to do. And you need to create something that has ongoing value. Because think about it like this. Everything that you pay for, most of the major expenses in our lives that we pay for, they're done on monthly, right? You don't think of them as a membership, but you pay for them monthly. Your utilities, your internet, your phone, your car, your insurance, your home insurance, right? All of these different things we pay for monthly. And it is a membership when you think about it, because if you do not pay, you do not keep the water, the house, the car, the internet, the phone. You don't keep any of those services if you don't pay for them every single month. So they have ongoing value. Same thing with Netflix. 350 million subscribers on Netflix. That's a hell of a lot better than trying to sell a $17 template, right? Or trying to get paid for views. It's a lot better because you don't start from, look, in May, I had the best month that I've ever had. I think I had like 22,000 views on my YouTube channel. Didn't make me money because I'm not even monetized there. But for me to equal that performance, I would have had to have had 22,000 or 30,000 or 50,000 views the following month, which I didn't. But I didn't care because I don't get paid for views. I get paid for knowledge. All right? And you should too. So information is not power. I love to talk about this because when we were kids, and let me know if you remember this. When we were kids, this is what happened. We would watch this thing called Schoolhouse Rock. Anybody remember Schoolhouse Rock? Anybody remember in the Schoolhouse Rock? Right? Well, anyway, with Schoolhouse Rock, here was what they did. All right? They told us information or knowledge is power, and it's not. That's the biggest lie that there is, because they're leaving out part of the equation. Knowledge is not power. Well, information is not even knowledge. Information is not knowledge unless it is absorbed and remembered, right? That's what becomes knowledge. But knowledge is not even power unless it's implemented. Otherwise, it's just entertainment. That's all it is. And 99% of the stuff that we consume is just information. It's data that rattles around in our brain. But unless we act on what we watch, we don't make any changes in our life, and it has no relevance whatsoever. None. Big fat zero. So, monetizing what you know is a heck of a lot better, man. It is a heck of a lot better. What did I do here? Trying to get that slide off. Right? Monetize what you know. There it is. I was trying to get that off. Monetize what you know. See, here's the thing. You have a massive array of knowledge, right? You have a vast array of knowledge. It could be in a profession. It could be in a problem that you have solved. It could be in a passion or hobby that you pursue. Any of those things, right? Why aren't you monetizing that? Right? Why aren't you monetizing that? So, getting rid of those. But here, these are the mistakes that most people are making, and these are the fixes for those mistakes. You don't need a fancy website. You don't need a bunch of different offers to appeal to tons of different people. And they're also not getting any recurring income. But a fix is to build a community. have one clear offer in that community, and build a recurring income. Now, this is my favorite part of the whole thing because I get to show you like some real deal stuff that is going on. All right. I get to show you that. And to me, that's really, really cool. So let's go here. Now, can you see that? So while everyone's out here trying to get paid for views, this guy decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start a community, and I'm just going to teach people how to play Grand Theft Auto 6 before it even comes out. I'm just going to teach them how to play. And so he has 376 members paying him $25 a month. Remember the number that I just gave you? What's up, Jaeger? How are you? Remember? Right? So, and you know, there was a time in our lives, especially when video games were first coming around, like Atari and Commodore 64 and Sega and all this stuff. And we would sit there and we were mesmerized by them, right? We were completely and totally mesmerized by these games. But here was the problem. We had no idea that there was any way whatsoever to monetize those things, right? We didn't have any way of monetizing those things. That was not a thing back then. And so what our parents would tell us, what our parents would say to us, trying to get this back, what happened? Oh, there we go. So where are we here? Sorry about that, guys. There we go. So what our parents would tell us was, you can't make money from your hobbies. Remember that? You can't make money from your hobbies. Well, then you have a guy like this coming along, right? And guess what? He's making money from his hobbies. Because I'm sure he didn't build the game, right? He didn't build the game. But he's teaching people how to play the game, and he's making money. Let's go back to him again. Right? Let me pull that up so you can see it. There we go. I'm going to pull this back here. So, that. But that's not the only one, right? That's not the only one that's doing this. Let's go into the discovery of communities, right? Let's pull up Canva. Canva is a very popular tool, right? And if you have delved deeper into Canva than most, then you could have 93 members paying you $97 a month to be part of your, oh, that's actually, I'm sorry, she's got 93 members, but she ought to be charging monthly. She ought to be charging monthly. And as long as you can justify what people are going to pay for, right? So this person, who's a good, here's a perfect person. Create and sell with Canva. She has 770 members paying her $7 a month. I love that symmetry with the 770 too. So let's just do a little math, shall we? 770 people times 7. Is that right? 770 times 7. Yeah, she's making $5,300 a month teaching people Canva. Just teaching Canva, right? Let's go. Anybody who's watching, give me a topic idea, and I'll be happy to look it up for you. I used to do this all the time, and then TikTok got mad at me because I was showing screens on school. But so let's try. Let's go into school discovery here. let's just go into hobbies in general, right? Let's just go into hobbies in general. Was it this one? No. This was one I saw. Where was self-improvement? Was it self-improvement? No, it was not that. Well, here's an ADHD community. So the way that you have to do that is you have to educate them with content. That's the only way you're going to get them. Is you have to educate them, and you have to let them know why it's better than what they're currently doing. Now, the easiest way to do that is not to get them to want to join school. That's a good question. I ought to pin that and put that up here. It is not to get them to join school. It is to tell them that by being part of your school, they can get the results that they're looking for. So I want you to think about it like this. Let's say, Jaeger, that I come to you and I say, hey, man, why don't you come to my backyard? And people are like, what? What are you, crazy? Why would I come to your backyard? But you're more likely to come to my backyard if I say, hey, I'm having a barbecue. It just happens to be in my backyard, but I'm having a barbecue. So that's how. So it's not so much inviting them to school. School is the vehicle, how you're going to teach them what you're going to teach them. They don't need to know that it's school. They just need to know that it's a place where they're going to get community, classroom, calendar, and you'll be there for them, right? They don't need to know that it's school. But when they join your school, that's when you have to educate them. And all I like to tell people is that school is like a Facebook group on steroids that people actually want to hang out in. Right? They're not bombarded by ads. Everything is there. And look, most of my generation, sorry about that, I got an itch. Most of my generation has no idea what school is. They're slowly but surely learning with the help of meta ads, but most of my generation has no idea what school is. I saw this community. I thought it was cause sleeping, but it's co-sleeping. Look at this. Now, to me, this is amazing. This is absolutely stunning to me that this is a thing. But this just goes to show you that it doesn't matter what it is. You could have a community about anything. This woman has 612 members paying her $10 a month. $10 a month. So she's making $6,000 a month from people who just want to be part of a co-sleeping community. I don't even know what co-sleeping is, to be honest with you. I have no clue what it is. And it's not real hard to figure out how she's building this community. All you have to do is go to her profile, right? You see, oh, she's got an Instagram. And you see in her Instagram, that she doesn't even have her school community in her Instagram. That's crazy. But look, she's got 548,000 followers. So it's probably really simple for her to just say, join my community, right? But that's all it is. It is finding something that you feel passionate about sharing with other people and just doing it. Now, there's 4 ways that you can draw traffic to a community. There's 4 ways. Number 1 is making content, whether it's live or videos. And I just did a video on how I believe live is way more effective than pre-recorded videos are these days. You can check that out here on my channel. So you can create content, live or record it. You can reach out to individual people and ask them. I know it's a crazy thing, but you can ask people. You can just go to them and you say, hey, I started this community for X. I help people do blank in whatever period of time with whatever tools or whatever, right? And you just say, hey, it's check out the link if you're interested. And that's it, right? Or you can even do it a step further from that, which is called third party. And that's where you just say, hey, I don't know if you know anybody that is trying to do blank. I don't know if you know any stay-at-home moms who are trying to better parent their kids, right? But I started this community and there's a 7-day free trial. After that, check it out. And then you are not being like the person who is pursuing somebody, if you will, because I know a lot of people have a problem with sales. But look, sales is the way you help people. All right? Sales is how people get helped. It's just the way that it is. So, to that end, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you about the Creator Cash Flow Circle. So, in 7 days with my Creator Cash Flow Circle, you'll leave with a topic, you'll leave with a setup plan, and you'll even have an invite list. So, and this is what our community looks like. All right, I'm going to give you a sneak peek. So inside you do have the community part of it, right? So inside of there, we have a start here post, we have an introduction post, and then we have people like Danielle. Danielle said, because I asked this question inside my community, and I told people to answer the question, and it was, I could talk about what for an hour? In her case, it was about natural supplements and detoxing your life. Now, she is a nurse. She had been trying to sell digital products, which is i.e. make money online products. She had been trying to sell those for a couple of years and not getting what she wanted, right? She was stuck in that I have to make a daily sale type deal. And so when I asked those 3 questions to her, it's like I helped her make a breakthrough. It's like, oh my God, I could talk for an hour about natural supplements. The person who needs it is everyone, because our food is processed and household products are made. I think you want to narrow down that more than that. And then what they aren't getting from anybody else, knowledge of it creates disruption and oxidative stress on the body. So look, I don't even really know what she's talking about here, but what I'm saying is that's all you have to do. You just have to ask yourself a couple of questions. And the reason that you ask those questions, I think you probably want to go a little bit nichier than that. I mean, yes, over 40 is one thing, but maybe choose a profession, or maybe choose a more narrow demographic. And the reason that I say that, that is also a good question. I'm going to pop that up there too, right? And we'll get rid of this one. Oh, no, we've got it up there. Okay, perfect. So the reason you want to go niche is because it's like specializing in medicine, right? So specializing in medicine means, so if I was going to have, sorry about that. Let's put it back up there. So if I was going to have if I had a problem and I know what the problem is, right? I'm not going to go to a general practitioner. I'm going to go to a specialist. And so that's why you want to become a specialist for one specific group of people. Now, look, I could have said for all YouTubers. I didn't. I said educational YouTubers. I could have said educational YouTubers. I didn't. I said educational YouTubers over 40 or 40 and over, right? Because why? Because I'm a I'm 40 and over. But then I took it even a step further. Educational YouTubers 40 and over who are sick of a $60 AdSense check. I know what their problem is. They're trying to get paid for views. And even though I had 22,000 views last month on May, on my YouTube, you know how much I made from it? 0. But you know how much I made from my knowledge? 4 figures. Right? So it is about specializing. Be a big fish in a very small pond. Master that pond. And then move from a pond to a lake. And then move from a lake to a river. Then move from a river to an ocean. Right? But you got to start out small, man. You got to start out small. Because you want people to look at that and say, because if I just said, hey, YouTubers, 20-something's not going to listen to me, but a 40-something who makes the type of content that I do, which is profession, personal problem, or passion, and makes that type of content, they're going to look at that and say, okay, that's me. The guy looks like me, he talks like me, he uses the same language, he has the same. But you want to get with people that you understand who they are. And I'm going to, here, check this out. What was it? Was it YouTube? I think it was auto YouTube channels. Check this out. No, that's automation. That's not what I want. Or is it? Was it YouTube car channels, maybe? No. Doggone it. That's car. But here's a perfect example. Claude. So people aren't saying Master AI, they're saying Master Claude, right? And Claude's big right now. So it's Claude, or it's, I'll tell you what, here's a perfect idea. Look at this guy, Pinterest. This guy has 5,000 members. And he's not getting you to master anything. And his thing, Tim's thing, is he believes only in Pinterest as a traffic source. I never heard of Pinterest as a traffic source, but he does, right? And you can see how, and I don't know how this works. I have no idea. Not my thing. It's not for me, right? But he's only teaching Pinterest. Now, because he's branched out a bunch, he's got he's got a little wider strategy. But you can't really do that in the beginning. So let's take a look at, he doesn't even have his social media listed on his thing. But, well, what I just talked about was perfect. You don't have to teach people design. You need to teach people Canva, right? And so she probably has a good idea. Now, granted, she's got a huge audience on Instagram, but it's about serving a very small audience at first. Because the more that you can serve that audience very specifically, because you understand their problems and you understand the way they think, the more they're going to look at your thing and they're going to say, oh, this is exactly for me. Like you could say, hey, painting. Nope, landscape painting. Here's a perfect example. Check this out. This is only for painting animals. 241 members, $19 a month. It's not paint landscapes. It's not paint portraits. It's animal painting. Because he's getting super specific. The more super specific you are, the better your community will perform. Right? Look, painting, 4 members free. It's too generic. Face painting, little bit better, right? Learn how to use acrylic paint. That's a little bit more. Painting with Peggy, broad. Granted, she's got 37 members. It's $15 a month. That's great. But animal painting school, landscape painting school, right? So so you can do it 2 ways. You can either offer a very specific outcome or you can talk to a very specific person. Like you and I talked, Jager, if you're still here, you and I talked about offering your services for painting only to people that have that. That's a little bit more. That's a little bit more. I honestly believe draw with pens. I mean, that's certainly a lot more specific than, God, doggone it. There we go. It's certainly a lot more specific. But I might even go into the same reason you were using painting. Painting is the vehicle, but you're serving a very specific audience. Look, I had a woman who actually said about my community, she said that maybe my community ought to be for neurodivergence because the way that I teach seems to appeal to neurodivergent people. I don't know. But she's neurodivergent, and she said, you are really good with neurodivergent people. So I've thought, I don't know, maybe that's the way to go. Maybe if you're neurodivergent and you're creating content, right? Because and it's not that I've had any specific training with neurodivergent people, but for whatever reason, she pointed out to me that the way that I teach is very conducive to learning for neurodivergent people. So I don't know, maybe that is a place I need to go. But you see, it is about getting super niche. And you might think that it's so niche that you won't get people. It's just the opposite. It's just the opposite. So think about it in those terms. But for people who want to check this out, all right, for people who want to check it out, I have the Cash Flow Circle community. And there we are, right? So you can get a 7-day free trial. After that, it's a whopping $9 a month. I don't know how long it's going to stay there, honestly, because I think sometimes, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody else, sometimes we price low because we want to get people, and unfortunately, we end up taking anybody with a pulse, as opposed to pricing something at a more premium rate where people might actually believe that it works. And that might be where I am with my community. Because, I mean, the evidence is there, right? The evidence is there. Cindy was making $3,000 a month in her first 30 days. Ray was making $1,100 a month in his first 6 weeks. But it would be like, well, why are you only charging $9 a month for something like that? Right? So I don't know. And if somebody like Danny, who didn't know how I taught, but she found me and she likes the community, right? If you're neurodivergent and you go into a community and you see nothing but classrooms, and there's just so many of them, and it becomes overwhelming to somebody who has that condition. They'll leave. They're not getting what they want. But the way that I've decided to do it is I just want it to be who um, about who I can help, right? But again, I did have somebody say that to me. It's like, well, if I can make $1,000 a month, you know, and possibly get there in the next 90 days if I follow everything that you tell me to do, why are you only charging $9 a month? And that's a fair point, right? And my desire to help as many people as possible when I started this community is part of that. And look, that got me into trouble. I'll be the first to tell you that got me into trouble because the first community I started was free, and I got to 750 members in that community. I don't even know if you can. I don't know. You can't see it because it's archived. Or can it? I don't know. Can you see it? Maybe you can. I'm not sure. But you can't see it on Discovery. I know that. But guys, check it out. Check out the community, and if you have questions, you can drop them in the comments of any of my videos or of this live. If you have if you have comments or questions on YouTube, on TikTok, you can drop them over there as well. But we're going to wrap things up here. I'm going to go grab some dinner before I call it a night here. So if there are no more questions, and thank you for all those questions, Jagger, I really appreciate it. But I would like to actually see you niche down even more than you currently are. I really think that would serve you better to do that. And sorry about the infinity thing here. I'm trying to find it. Where is my man? I just do not like the fact that I cannot find it. No problem, man. That's what I'm here for. There it is. Good Lord, where did it go? That is insane. Why can I not find that ever? It just gets lost, right? It just gets lost. So guys, check it out. I hope you enjoyed the live, and we will see you tomorrow.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.